Alright, got everything set up that we need. Looks like it. Okay. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Jesse talks all things TDCJ and military. As always, of course, I'm your host, Jesse. So glad to have you all here. Let me be the first one to say Happy New Year's Eve to everyone. I want everyone to stay safe. Have a great day. Let's get ready for that ball to drop. Let's get 2022 out of here. Get 2023 rolled in. I'm going to be hunkered down here at the house. After I get done here, we got a Twilight Zone marathon going on. I got a few cans of beer set to the side. Let's just enjoy the day. Chill. In the meantime, hope you guys will spend a little time with me. Let me entertain you guys. So, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, before I get into it, once again, if you guys hear any background noise, my neighbor is having a concert next door. So, if it sounds like there's some piped in music, it's because it's thumping over from his pad over there. You just got to deal with it. I want to start making a little transition and start adding in some military stories to it. I've renamed the channel Talks All Things TDCJ and Military, and I've gotten a couple of comments that I have yet to really talk about anything on the military aspect and the perspective of it. I tried telling some stories when I first started the channel before I had really any kind of subscribers, and nobody was interested in it. There were no views, and the few views that were on there included comments with, "Why am I talking about this? Tell the prison war stories." So that was all I did. I stayed in the left-hand lane and just told nothing but the prison stories. Well, there's only so many of those I can tell. I do have quite a few of the military ones, and I want to start incorporating some of those. Tell some of those experiences. I even thought about starting a whole new channel about being an instructor right now in Yorktown. Unfortunately, I can't really speak much about the assignment while I'm currently assigned to it. I think it would be best for me to wait until this assignment runs its course, and then I could start that and hopefully benefit a lot of viewers from that. But what I can talk about are some past experiences and incorporate some stories into it. Hopefully you guys find it entertaining as well as educational. James, here's to you. I thought one that would really benefit everybody would be, what was it like being a reservist while being an active corrections officer at TDCJ? A lot of employers are not very friendly to having reservists assigned to them. It's gotten a lot better ever since everything overseas, the events of 9/11 have really run their course. We're not in an active war anymore. However, I can tell you guys, back in the late 2000s, the early teens, if you were a reservist with any kind of military unit, it could be really tough to get employment in certain places. Not so much with government state agencies, but private agencies. I was in the Marine Corps from 99 to 2003. I did my time overseas after 9/11. Came back home, started applying for jobs. I sat around on unemployment for a little while. I was young, doing my thing, and started applying for jobs. And one of the questions that would tactfully come up, you serve 4 years active, and then from 2003 to 2007, I incurred an inactive contract. Everybody who joins up for the military obligates an 8-year obligation. 4 active, 4 inactive. Or 6 as a reservist, 2 as a reservist. It's just how those contracts work. During those 4 years, I could have been recalled at any time with no notification whatsoever. We need you to report to Kansas City, Missouri, and get ready for in-processing. Okay, well, whatever. So you always have that hanging over your head. Employers are not supposed to discriminate from any kind of hiring. We know that. That's in the law. Well, there's paper law, trial law, and then there's real life. In the instructor world, we teach real life, drill life. One of the questions that I would get asked one of the questions I would get asked every interview that I had was, what are my chances of being recalled? I probably could have had a better answer than the one that I did, but I was young, hard-headed at the time, and would just flat out, well, that's not a question that you're allowed to ask me. Roger that, Mr. Carter. Thank you for your time. You'll be hearing from us. Not hired. They'd go right on to the next one there. They'd find some way whatsoever to use that as the reason. I can't officially prove that, of course, but I know it goes on. At least it did back then. So, we're not going to go into the events of what took place between 2003 and 2007. I discovered the Coast Guard after the events of Hurricanes Rita and Katrina, when they were doing all the rooftop rescues there in New Orleans. They'd hover over the orange helicopters, they call them Dolphins, 65-foot helicopters. They'd lower the basket, the swimmer would grab onto the person, bring the person up the cable. It looked absolutely phenomenal. I checked out the website. I said, man, this looks awesome. Maritime law enforcement, sign me up. I'm going to save all the details of that for future videos. January 2007, I no longer had that inactive contract. I was able to contact the recruiter. It took from January to July for me to get to boot camp. Cool. Active duty Coast Guard member. I was served on active duty. Sorry, my back itches. I was on active duty from 2007 to 2012. I was a bosun mate. Started off bosun mate 3rd class, made bosun mate 2nd class. 2012, I got to where I didn't want to be on active duty anymore. I wanted to go back to being a reservist. I'll save the details for that for another video as well. Unless you guys want to sit here and listen to a 2-hour video of me ramble, which nobody could do that. So I petitioned to go into the reserves. That petition was granted. Roger that. In the summer of 2012, I was assigned Coast Guard Station Sabine Pass, Texas, as a bosun mate 2nd class. Once a month, I'd go in on Saturday and Sundays. We call it drilling. You would do 4-hour blocks. You get 4 drills in a weekend. I did that from 2012 to 2015. 2015 is when I went back on the current contract that I'm on active duty right now. 2012 was also when I went and applied for TDCJ. I applied with TDCJ. I applied with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department as well. Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, being a law enforcement agency, had a much longer application process. Huge background statement, list every employment. TDCJ, hey man, can you fill out this paperwork? You breathing? You're hired. That's pretty much how it was. So, I would do my drills at Sabine typically the 2nd week of each month. Sometimes it would be the 3rd, give or take, depending on. But we tried to all meet up on the 2nd week of each month. We do our duties Saturday, Sunday, go on back into our civilian life from there. When I hired on with TDC in April 2013, it wasn't any kind of problem. That was probably the most military-friendly, military-accommodating agency there could have been. I know I flamed and I bashed on TDC so much. They worked with me every chance that they could when I needed any kind of time to do my military duties. It was in the 3rd week of the academy. You go through the academy Monday through Friday. You're off Saturday and Sunday. I'd go back home, and then class starts back up Monday morning. 3rd week of the academy, I had my drill week. Monday through Friday, I'm in the academy. Friday, I left Huntsville, went straight to Sabine Pass. Already had everything packed up. I was on duty there at the station Saturday to Sunday. Washed my clothes, washed my TDCJ uniform there, ironed it, starched it, got everything ready. Left dog ass early Monday morning. Super early Monday morning. It's something like 2 o'clock in the morning. So that way I could get from Sabine Pass back to Huntsville. I didn't go to the barracks because the barracks has the room inspections. I didn't want to go through that. I changed out in the freaking academy parking lot. It was still dark outside. I think we still had like an hour and a half, maybe even closer to 2 hours before it was time for class to start. I had to do what I had to do. Changed out in uniform. I sat there in my car. Other cadets started to show up. It's time for class. Went on about the week. Went through weeks 4, week 5. I was in the second week of my OJT process, getting closer to the end of it. OJT was a Monday through Friday kind of a thing. We'd come in at 0800. We report to the field training officer, FTO Officer Lewis. I understand she's retired. Congratulations. I hope whoever's taking over there at the Styles is doing as good a job as she was. She was a phenomenal FTO. She had her days, we all do, but for the most part, awesome FTO to work with and train with. We'd work on her schedule. You come in from 8. If she needed to leave at 2:30, 3 o'clock, whenever it was, we were called back, turn in all of our equipment, do the debrief with her, be gone. Once you were on your shift, that's when the real life of TDCJ started. I was in the second week of the OJT process, and I had to drill again. So I let her know what was going on. She cut me out early on Friday. She called me in just before we started serving chow. He's like, "Hey, Carter, you got military this weekend?" "Yes, ma'am." "Why don't you go ahead and go get yourself ready for that?" "Roger that. Thanks." Left early. She took care of me. She really hooked me up. Went, did my duty there at the station. Was on duty Saturday, Sunday. I tried to get cut out a little bit early on Sunday. Not going to say it. The chief that I had assigned at the time, he wanted everybody there till at least 1600. Roger that, chief. Cool. Got to do what we got to do. I get it. I live that life. Left. Went back home. Went to bed early. Got myself ready. Woke up the next day. Time to go back into it. Cool. Next week after that, it was time for me to start shift. And that was where it got a little bit user-friendly. We worked 4 on, 4 off. The days didn't matter. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It didn't matter. What did matter was every second week of the month, Saturday and Sunday, I was going to have to go to the station. Nothing could stop that. Sometimes it could work out where we would have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for your 4 days on. Saturday, Sunday, I'm at the station. That was a 6-day stretch. Monday, Tuesday, off. Didn't really have time to do anything. Back on the 4-day shift. That's where it could get a little bit rough. Sometimes it could work to where Saturday and Sunday I was at the station. First thing Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on shift. That was another long stretch. Then there was the flip side to that double-edged sword. There were times you could be working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Saturday and Sunday I was supposed to be at the station. So I'd be in Friday at the penitentiary. Saturday, Sunday, I'd be at the station. Monday, back to penitentiary. Start the 4-day stretch. The best thing about, if it worked out that way, if it was a work day and I had to serve, there was a form that we filled out. I don't remember what the form was. You got it from Human Resources. I kept a stack of them in my truck that I could already have filled out, ready to go. You turn that into Human Resources, you got paid for not being there. I got my salary. I got comp, sick. What was that other? Whatever the other off time that we got for vacation time. Sorry. 8 hours vacation, 4 hours sick, 4 hours comp time. I got that. They didn't have to pay me full salary. They just had to give you the time and credit your seniority at the unit. Styles unit paid me. Human Resources ladies, they took care of me. They hooked me up. For those 2 days, that was credited on my check. Otherwise, they didn't have to. That would have been 2 days pay lost. I would have just collected my military drill pay, so they took care of me there. Man, shout out to those ladies. One thing I can say about the Styles, whoever worked, I don't know who works Human Resources now. The Human Resources back then, dude, they were awesome. They did everything they could to take care of people. Shout out to you. Where it was a little bit user unfriendly would come from the supervisors. I ain't talking about Raymond. I'm talking about old fat ass Jones. Motherfucker Jones. That dude. That first stretch that I needed the Saturday and Sunday off, I told him about it that Friday shift. And he just he's looking down at the desk doing his paperwork. He kind of looks up at me. You couldn't have told me this any time sooner. When would you have wanted to know about it, Sarge? The last shift that we asked this. Actually, and I started to say, I didn't want to start off on the wrong foot. I started to say, I actually don't have to tell you anything. All I got to do is turn in the paperwork to Human Resources, and I'm not even there. It's just like somebody calling in sick. You just got to make do without it. I hadn't got to that stage yet with Jones. I was trying to work with him. Told him, hey, Sarge, I wish I could have told you sooner. Just giving you as much notice as I can right here. I got to do it. You can be gone. How many days you gonna be gone? Saturday and Sunday. That's when reserves drill. We'll be back for Monday though, right? Yes, Sarge. I'll be here bright and early Monday. All right, let's just make sure nothing happens. Nothing happened. In my head, I'm going, nothing happens. You mean what? If I have to stay an extra day, it don't freaking matter if I have to. It was already generating a little bit of friction with him. As it went on down the shifts, it didn't happen all the time. Sometimes we would be on our 4 days off, and that wouldn't bother it. Other times it would be like you're working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday started our first day shift, or first off shift. So I only missed that 1 day, Saturday, when I was at the station. That didn't disrupt a whole lot. It kind of did because a lot of folks would try to call in on that 4th day to get a 5-day weekend, or on their 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th off, that first Monday, they call in sick. You did that, you had to bring in a doctor's note. The state knew how people did that, and they had a good way of tracking it. You wouldn't be allowed to come back on the shift without bringing in a doctor's note. If you didn't after so long, fired you. Saw it happen a lot of times. There were quite a few times I had to bring in some of those doctor's notes myself. Thank God for those doctor's offices next to CC's Pizza that make copies for you. Yeah, got to do what you got to do, right, folks? So, where I'm going with that, it was a really good experience being a reservist. They worked with me, never gave me any trouble, paid me while I was there. I had my TRICARE benefits. I had state benefits. I collect my military pay. Drill pay's not that much. You figure 2 days out of the month, it was probably something like $357 at the time. It's probably about $357 a month. It's a nice little supplemental pay, plus what the state would kick in if I happened to be on shift during that time. Never had any problems with anybody. Other than old Jones. I'm not going to get into it. I've already flamed on him too many times. January 2015, I had the opportunity to integrate into active duty. There was a message that come out. If reserves held certain qualifications, which I did, you could possibly start the integration process, integrate in, keep your pay grade, get assigned your unit of choice. I talked about this story in my Why Did I Resign series. I'll just follow up to it. Contacted the recruiter, gave him all my information, told him everything. Where can I get assigned? I could get assigned where I was currently serving at, Coast Guard Station Sabine. I wouldn't have to move anywhere. Be a 4-year billet. Like, things had already started to go downhill for me there at the Styles. I've covered it in previous videos. You can check those out. I was not a particularly popular corrections officer. So what? And that's where I am right now. 7 years later, here I am still in active duty in the Coast Guard. If anybody is a reservist and are still actively serving while being an active CO, I hope your process is going as smoothly as mine is. For transitioning veterans that are looking for a career at TDCJ, good luck to you. Please don't take my videos as a don't hire. These were simply my experiences. Other individuals, they were able to make 30-year careers. Mad shout out to y'all. Y'all are the real heroes of TDC. Not me. I just put in a couple of years. I'm just a guy telling my stories. Y'all were the ones that made the difference there at that place. I respect every single one of you. Shout out. Folks, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been entertaining as well as somewhat educational. If you got questions, as always, ask. If you want to flame, go ahead and flame. Just make it where the comments will show up so others can see. Hope everyone has a happy new year. Stay safe tonight. I'll see you guys in the next video. Carter's out.